This Star Trek Voyager character was far better off for being stranded in the Delta Quadrant. When Star Trek Voyager launched in 1995, its premise was simple but powerful. A Starfleet ship stranded 70,000 light-years from home must survive an unknown region of space known as the Delta Quadrant. For many members of the crew, that journey was defined by hardship, loss, and longing for Earth. Yet for one character, being stranded so far from the familiar proved to be the best possible thing that could have happened to him. That character was Neelix. At first glance, Neelix may not seem like the obvious candidate for someone whose life improved thanks to Voyager's predicament. The Talaxian merchant was already living in the Delta Quadrant when the USS Voyager arrived. But the ship's presence and the long journey it forced upon its crew fundamentally transformed Neelix's life, purpose, and identity in ways that never would have happened otherwise. In fact, Neelix arguably benefited more than almost anyone else from Voyager's long voyage home. Neelix before Voyager. A life defined by loss. Before meeting Captain Catherine Janeway and her crew, Neelix was a survivor of unimaginable tragedy. Years earlier, the Haakonian Order used a devastating weapon known as the Metrian Cascade against the Talaxian colony on Rinnax. The attack wiped out most of the population, including Neelix's family. The trauma left him wandering the Delta Quadrant alone, scraping together a living as a trader, scavenger, and occasional smuggler. Neelix's early life in Voyager reflects this painful past. He is cheerful and talkative on the surface, but beneath that optimism lies deep insecurity. He constantly worries about being useful, about losing the few people he cares about, and about being abandoned again. Without Voyager, Neelix likely would have continued drifting through the Delta Quadrant, surviving but never truly living. Voyager changed that. Voyager gave Neelix a family, one of the central themes of Star Trek. Voyager is the idea that the crew becomes a family during their long journey home. For Neelix, this concept is especially meaningful. After joining Voyager in the pilot episode Caretaker, Neelix quickly becomes part of the ship's daily life. Initially serving as a guide to the Delta Quadrant, he gradually takes on multiple roles: chef, morale officer, ambassador, and unofficial cultural liaison. These jobs may sound small compared to command positions on the bridge, but they are vital to the crew's emotional survival. Voyager is isolated from the Federation and far from any familiar support system. Neelix helps fill that gap. He organizes celebrations, cooks meals from improvised ingredients, and constantly checks on the crew's well-being. In many ways, he becomes the ship's heart. For someone who lost everything on Rinnax, Voyager gives Neelix something he desperately needed: a new family. Personal growth Neelix never expected. Neelix's time aboard Voyager also forces him to grow in ways he never anticipated. Early in the series, Neelix struggles with jealousy and insecurity, especially in his relationship with Kez. He fears being replaced or seen as unimportant by the Starfleet crew. These flaws make him one of the most human characters on the show, despite being an alien. Over time, however, Neelix evolves. His confidence grows as Captain Janeway and the crew increasingly rely on him. Episodes like Fair Trade reveal the internal battle he faces when confronted with his past as a dishonest trader. Instead of returning to that life, Neelix ultimately chooses integrity and loyalty to Voyager. That choice is a turning point.